Hi everyone, it's Melissa. So I decided to sit down and make a video series about how to get around on Ancestry.com and a few little tricks of some really cool things you can do there to make the whole experience better and to get your tree filled out more and discover how you're related to your DNA matches. I'm sure there are other videos about this, but why not have one more, right? Okay, so this is my account here. When you do your Ancestry DNA test, and you get your results. It's a little frustrating and overwhelming to see hundreds or thousands of people that you have shared DNA with and have no clue what your family ties are. So when you sign into your account, come up here to DNA and click that. You can either click DNA twice or you can come down to DNA results summary. And that will take you to this page. Right now they have this advertisement up here for these cards that they're selling, but it's not normally there. Usually it looks more like this when you sign in. You just see these three options here. So you're going to see your ethnicity estimate here on the left, your DNA matches in the middle, and your DNA circles on the right. If you haven't done a whole lot of family tree work and you haven't made a lot of connections with that, you may not have any DNA circles. DNA circles comes from having your tree very extensively filled out. We're talking all the parents, all the aunts, uncles, cousins, children, brothers and sisters, like absolutely everybody, and a couple hundred years of generations at least, to be able to really organize your DNA matches and find out how you're related to people. And first, you want to start a family tree. So you click on trees and it will walk you through the prompts of starting a family tree. I'll show you my tree in just a second. Van Horn tree is the one I'm doing for a friend, and then this is my tree, so we're going to go to mine. All right, here we are at my family tree. It's me, my father, my mother, their parents, and all of their parents, and all of their parents, and I have many, 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 many more layers of generations further back than that. Okay, so mine's nice and filled out via tons of hard work, but if you haven't started yours yet, it might look a little barren and empty. So you want to start with yourself, put your details about you. If you're married, put your spouse, put your children. Let me see if I could find an empty space here so I could show you what it looks like when you're adding a new person. Add father, add mother. So like say that's you. This would be your father and your mother. When you're adding a new person, click add, and this little page will pop up. And it might guess at the name, but put the first name, the last name, whether they're male, female, or unknown, deceased, or living. Put their birth date if you know it. You don't have to know it. It's not required. The birthplace if you know it. Same with the death date and death place. And then you click save. So you want to do that with your parents and try to get your grandparents and your great-grandparents if possible. You want to ask your parents, if your grandparents are still alive, ask them what their parents' names were. Write all this information down. Try your very best to get where they were born, where they grew up, a rough estimate on their birth year, or the exact estimate if you possibly can. Try to get pictures if possible, because pictures are always great to have here. Go ahead and add that in. And you can also add brothers and sisters. Okay, so say that's my grandpa. I'm going to go ahead and click on his name and we'll bring up his profile. So you're going to see some tabs here at the top. Life story, facts, gallery, that's for pictures or stories or any other documents you have saved to this person. And you want to click on life story. Is you can change the life story to whatever you want it to say, or Ancestry will actually write a really short, simple version of it for you based on what facts you give them. But you want to click on facts, and then you'll be able to see whatever records are attached to them, and you can look over here on the right side at their family. So this is where you would enter their parents, their mother and father. And then here you would enter their spouse and their children. If they had more than one spouse, like my grandpa did, he had that's his first wife, or sorry, this is his first wife, that's his second wife, and then the children he had with these women. Now, if you want to add somebody else, you click Add Family here at the bottom. And you'll see a little pop-up menu come up, and you can add a spouse, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister. If you're adding their parents, these will be blank, and you can click on that and just add them that way, or you can do it from your tree page. So here's the deal. You want to try to get your parents, grandparents, and great grandparents at the very least. And not to sound morbid, but the most important records are the ones of people who have died. Because living people, that information is mostly private. If somebody else is looking at your tree, anybody who's alive right now is going to show up as private. They won't be able to read their information. And also, when you're doing your research, you're not going to find much at all, if any at all, on people who are currently alive. Most of that information is kept private. So, most of the records that you see and find, and most of the really detailed records that have really good information are going to be on people who have died, because that is what you'll be able to see on this website. That's what you're able to view. You want to start seeing these little leaf hints here, because these are little information hints that you can look at and review, and to decide, because they will gather information on this person and offer you this information, and you can look at it and click yes or no whether it matches the person in your family. So these little leaves mean that they found some possible record matches on this person, and they want you to look at them and tell them whether or not they are correct or incorrect. The reason there's none on these is because I've already reviewed them all and either accepted or denied them, said, no, that's not the same person. But we will just take a look at some of them to see what I mean. You click on the person's name, then come up here and click on the leaf, 14 Ancestry Hints. Okay, so this is the hints page. When you're on their profile, come over here and click on the hints link, and it will bring you here where you can see all of your hints. Hints from other people's family trees. He apparently appears in other people's family trees as well. There's U.S. public records, U.S. city directory, Florida marriage indexes, all kinds of things. And what you do is you click review, and then you read this information here. And if you recognize the names and you recognize the places and everything, and if it looks like it is correct, you can even come over here and click on view to actually look at the original document that they have the record on. They have pictures of these documents. It's really cool. And go ahead and read this information over. We'll go back and click whether you decide, yes, this is the right person, no. And you can even click maybe. That'll kind of save it so it's not totally rejected. Because if you click no, this thing will just disappear, this hint. So if I'm not absolutely certain that it's not them, I will just click maybe, because what if it is? Now, don't click yes unless you are 100% sure that that is the right person. See, if you can bring a laptop or your phone or whatever around an older family member and actually show them this information and show them the original document and get their confirmation that yes, that's correct, that would be even better. Now, the other thing you can do to find family records, say you asked your grandpa, what was your father's name? What was your mother's name? And he just cannot remember his mother's maiden name, because on Ancestry, it goes by the women's maiden names. So you'll notice here, the husband Brown, the mother Williams, all the women are going by their maiden names on here, because that helps you track the women's fathers and mothers a lot more easily. And if you don't know their maiden name, you can either ask an older family member or you can do your own research. Now, research. You want to come up here where it says search. Click that. You could either pick one of these, or I like to just click search twice, because then it will take you to the regular search page. and it will bring a little search box up here at the top. Just start typing in that relative's name if you know it. You put their first name and their middle name in this box. You can even use initials if you honestly don't know. Now, places your ancestors might have lived. Birth year. If you don't know, then you can guess. And here's a really good clue. In general, I'm not there's some people have children a little younger and some people have them a little later, but just in general, there's usually another generation every 20 years. Most people start having kids somewhere in their 20s. So, say you're adopted and you're not sure about your mother, guess about 20 years before you were born is usually about when your mother might have been born. And same thing with your grandparents. It's going to be about 20 years before your parents were born. And just keep doing that for, every, great grandparent, great great grandparent. Just do that 20 years back thing. If you happen to know where they were born, it'll copy the birth year down to here as well. So if you happen to know where they were born, in this case it was Oklahoma. I'll just put Oklahoma, USA, because I really don't remember the town, the city, county, whatever. And you can also enter their father, their mother, their sibling, their spouse, their child. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to get that technical about it. And I strongly advise against clicking exact match because for some reason, most of the time, that gives you 0 matches when there actually are records of your ancestor out there somewhere. Really try not to click on exact match. It doesn't help in most cases. So I'm just going to click search because I think that's enough. Something should come up. Okay, so I'm going to look through these records here. Honestly, my favorite records to look at are the census and voter lists here. But I'm just going to scroll down and see what they have here. Barbara Jones, Milwaukee? No, as far as I know, she never lived in Wisconsin. Uh, Los Angeles, California? Well, maybe. Barbara J. Shaw, the spouse is Harold D. Schrenk. No, she never married a Harold, so that's not her. Okay, Barbara J. Shaw, Wallace J. Valentine. That's actually my grandfather, so this is her, yeah. Marriage, Contra Costa, California. Yeah, that's where they lived. Okay, so this is her. You get a little preview when you wave your mouse over the record. Okay, yeah, this is a California marriage index. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Yeah, and with this, you could find out how they were married. You can view the original document here. I'm not going to, but so she was 23 when she married him. That's the date of the marriage. And you can actually, if you want to save this to your, like if I wanted to save this to my grandmother, it says up here that it's already saved to her. So I already have this record in my tree. But if you wanted to save it, you would just click here and click Save to Someone in Your Tree. And then just start typing their name. So Barbara Joan Shaw. So go ahead and select it from the list there. And then save it to that person in your tree. And that record will be saved on their page. Then you can get information on them. Like say I didn't know who my grandpa was. And I was searching. And I found this marriage record. I'd be like, oh, Wallace J. Valentine. Okay, I guess that's my grandpa. So that's one way of doing it. Just do some record searches and search for your relatives that way. Now, another thing you want to look for, especially when you're searching through census records, you want to look for naming patterns. So I'll click on this. This isn't my grandma, but I'm just going to click on it to show you an example. The census pages are my favorite because they will actually show you the husband, the wife, and the names of any children that are living in that house. And you can look at, where they lived and what their relationship is to the head of the household. And it's really, really cool. So, and you can even look at the original document up here. Now, let's say you have no idea what her parents' names were, and so you have no idea if you're looking at the right person. Well, here's a clue. One thing you can look for is naming patterns, because especially when you get back into the 1800s, 17 and 1600s, you are going to see a lot of naming patterns. You're going to see like 4 generations of John Smith, like John Smith the first, John Smith the second, John Smith the third. You're going to notice he had brothers named Michael, Joshua, and Bradley. And then you look and his sons are named Michael, Joshua, and Bradley. And it's just going to keep going like that. You're going to see the same names appearing over and over and over again, and you've got the same family, the right people. It was more popular with men, but they also did it with women. Like the mother would name her daughters after her sisters and her mother, or maybe one of her aunts. And so that's something you really want to keep an eye out for. Well, I hope that helps to at least get you started on doing some family research to try to get your tree filled out. And I am going to be making another video on how to get more generations filled out more quickly and easily. So keep an eye out for that one too. Thank you for watching and have a great day.